Imagine a sitting justice on the nation's highest court, orchestrating a clandestine underground society to manipulate global geopolitics. In 1912, a prominent American attorney named Louis Brandeis officially aligned himself with Zionism. He proved so effective that within 2 years, he rose to head the International Zionist Central Office. By 1916, his close friend, President Woodrow Wilson, appointed Brandeis to the United States Supreme Court. Standard judicial ethics required him to resign from his private clubs and political affiliations, including his public leadership of the Zionist movement. Outwardly, Brandeis bowed to that pressure and stepped down. Behind closed doors, the reality was entirely different. He continued his political operations right from his private chambers at the Supreme Court. He maintained a steady flow of information, quietly receiving daily reports and issuing direct orders to a network of loyal lieutenants positioned outside the court. Instead of abandoning his political agenda to maintain impartiality, Brandeis used the immense prestige of his judicial seat as a shield. He built an unaccountable shadow network, completely hidden from the public eye. The roots of this network began taking shape in 1913, when an academic named Horace M. Callan officially founded a highly secretive group that grew out of Harvard's Menorah Society. They called themselves the Parushim. The name comes from the Hebrew word for Pharisees, which translates directly to separate. Brandeis relied on the Parushim as a private intellectual cadre, handpicking ambitious young men for political assignments. To join, these recruits had to undergo an intense, secretive fraternal initiation. New members were told they were binding themselves to a single cause for their entire life. They swore an oath stating, "You will for 1 year be subject to an absolute duty, whose call you will be impelled to heed at any time, in any place, and at any cost." These upwardly mobile American citizens were pledging a terrifying level of devotion. One member described the feeling as a secret military fellowship. They were committing absolute allegiance to a political cause, placing it entirely above their own nation and even their own families. Within this underground cadre, Brandeis found his most vital lieutenant, a young Harvard law professor named Felix Frankfurter. Brandeis arranged for a wealthy financier to secret Frankfurter's position at Harvard, essentially employing the professor as his own paid full-time political lobbyist. The Parushim operated with a specific tactical doctrine. An early recruiter explicitly wrote that they must avoid force and noise, relying instead on education and infection. They executed this by blending into high society. Members would arrange casual, friendly encounters with highly influential officials. During these seemingly innocent conversations, they would quietly plant suggestions for action, setting the agenda long before official government planners even realized an idea had been proposed. Operating entirely in the shadows was the linchpin of their success. The group's own recruiters openly admitted that attempting this work visibly would be suicidal to their ultimate political objectives. This document shows the result of those operations. The 1917 Balfour Declaration from the British Foreign Office promises a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The specific phrasing establishing a national home actually traces back to Parushim founder Horace Callan in November 1915. Callan knew the British were desperate to pull the U.S. into World War I. He argued that a pro-Zionist statement from Britain would rally the pro-English sympathies of Jewish masses, helping to break America's strict stance of neutrality. To push this along, Brandeis leveraged his close friendship with President Woodrow Wilson. He frequently acted as a direct, completely hidden conduit between British Zionists and the President of the United States. The initial diplomatic maneuver that established the borders of the modern Middle East did not originate in open congressional debates or public diplomacy. It began with the carefully calculated strategy of a secret American society. And this network did not dissolve after World War I. For the next 25 years, Felix Frankfurter remained at Harvard, shaping the minds of generations of the nation's most elite law students. When Frankfurter himself was eventually appointed as a Supreme Court justice, he replicated the exact clandestine blueprint he learned from Brandeis. he placed his own hand-picked disciples across numerous government agencies to quietly execute his extrajudicial political goals. Learning how these extremely powerful individuals operated forces us to look at the complex roots of the U.S.-Israel relationship and the subsequent century of conflict in the Middle East through a completely different lens. It reveals a sobering reality about how power actually functions. The most consequential shifts in global foreign policy are rarely the result of democratic elections. They are engineered in quiet rooms by unaccountable, oath-bound shadow networks. Did you have any idea that a sitting Supreme Court justice operated a secret society to influence global politics? Let us know down in the comments, and please like and subscribe to the Bookish Breakdown for more thoroughly researched historical deep dives.